Who do I have the pleasure with sitting with today?
My name is Charlotte Yedo.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Sophie.
And Didier.
What are you studying here at DU?
Psychology and communications.
Communications and public relations.
Fourth years?
Yep.
What are the plans after?
I'm going to be going to the Peace Corps Philippines, and
Tough to follow that up. Boyfriend's from Hawaii to convince him to move back there with me.
It's part of your First Amendment. There's
Okay.
5 things to your First Amendment.
Uh,
Oppressing
from-
your speech.
Yes.
it's just being able to say what you want. And
No matter what side you sit on politically.
I know there's something about fighting words you're not supposed to use.
Keep my head down, do my own thing. I tend to not stick my nose where it doesn't belong, I guess.
Remember when We Can Do Better came out during school for some reason, and I remember I was in class and I saw everyone walking out. If I interacted with it, I would just say I was aware of it. Looking back on my 4 years, I don't really, and I kind of feel guilty saying this, I don't really remember having a major part in it.
I will say that in classes, I don't always feel like I can totally share my honest opinion about things.
You know, I care to an extent, but also kind of anybody who differs from my opinions politically, they shouldn't be able to say.
Your way or the highway?
Yeah.
pretty high. There's bad takes out there, but sure, they should still get a say.
I mean, I think it's extremely important.
Pure entertainment fact. So much of social media is jokes. It's really hard to find the facts and politics.
I kind of get a lot of, I guess the best way of describing it is social media anxiety, and so I don't really engage a lot in expressing my opinions, especially political ones.
My Instagram story where I have a lot of people I actually know following me. I am more conscious of it. I don't just post and not post some of my more radical ideas.
Because I don't have any social media.
Okay.
It was just a kind of distraction, I guess.
Okay.
It's not really, it's kind of, it doesn't feel as real, I guess.
Also not super present on social media. I do have Instagram. I mostly just like to look at my friends' stuff. I get into politics as much. Every once in a while there's an infographic I'll have on my story.
I just use my platforms for entertainment. I don't really like to get involved with all of social matters on social media.
Also, my follower base is very similar to me in my views.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel it's not really influencing anybody else.
But on a platform like Twitter, which I use probably actually just as much as TikTok, since it's not my real name and a lot of people who follow me don't know me, I am a lot more radical on a platform like that. TikTok and Instagram are heavily monitored,
Yes.
whereas Twitter has a lot less. The moderation isn't as high on other social media platforms.
It's difficult because especially how many kids are on social media and stuff like that. You don't want explicit things going into the eyes of a 10-year-old, so there are censorship based on the viewers. But there are definitely things that I think they should be a little bit more lenient when it comes to censoring.
Someone in our class, I think it was actually Johnny, incorporate a shielded platform where you have to press a button that says, yes, I want to see this. Sensitive content.
Yes.
Continue or skip this video. For alcohol, it'll say, are you above 21? Sure.
Sure.
But there's no proof.
The start of the conversation, I actually have my viewed flip will always be offline before it is online. First of all, you have to create a dialogue that keeps both sides of this conversation interested, which is why I think the conversations start here and then move online.
I think especially now with cancel culture, more and more people are being censored and not trying to say their true beliefs. Oh, we want to share our ideas and everyone should have the freedom of speech. But then once someone shares an idea that isn't it's immediately censored. Causes more agreement in the one area and no one to debate it. And then people become more sensitive to the topic.
In my experience, no matter what you post on social media can be criticized. That's also why I don't like getting really into those different topics, because people are very quick to jump on you no matter what you're saying.
Whatever, we just share different political views, and I remember I reposted something and him and I were on the phone one time and
how my friend mentioned, like, your sister's off the rails too far to the left.
Like, oh my gosh, like, are a lot of people thinking that about me? I haven't seen this guy in like maybe 5 years, but the fact that he can still comment on like me and my life is so bizarre. Like, I obviously go to school in Denver, but I grew up in a very rural, small town. Like, when I see things from my hometown, I'm like, that is so classic. I just think when it comes to freedom of speech, I am all in favor of, like, I've heard some people say some things where I'm like, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna, I don't know, I guess judge you for that. I'm all in favor of that, I guess, because I've heard so many opinions. I'd like to go back to like my home. I have like a group of friends of like 5 girls who are very like strongly opinionated. And I remember being like juniors in high school, and we got into this like major fight, and we didn't fight much about, is homelessness a choice? And like we grew up in a small, like a town where there was not homelessness. Like none of us really had that much like background on it. But I remember we were like yelling at each other, and like we left the fight like mad at each other, I guess, just because like, I don't know. But anyways, to answer your question, I think like experiences with having such like open and like almost argumentative conversations with people who like know, we all know each other like to the core, kind of changed my opinion on how things, like, you can have an opinion and then like, I know at least for me, I went back on that conversation and said like, I don't agree with what I originally said. And they were like, I'm glad if any, like, if it was anything, like I was able to hear them. And it just, I don't know, it changed into a learning moment before like a canceled moment or like a friendship over movement.
You could just look into me. Look into my eyes if you want. Okay. All right, Johnny. Well, I guess I already messed up the first question. Who am I sitting with here today?
Johnny Graff.
Okay. And
Miami, Florida.
wow.
So unless I'm paying $2,000 a month for a studio, it's not happening.
Have you been to Hawaii?
Yeah, I visited once,
What-
but I'm really scared of
What do you
planes,
recommend
so-
for all the people that haven't had the opportunity? What's the first like beginner thing to do?
the beach?
The beach? Which beach?
I liked Flags. It's like in Kailua.